Welcome back to another episode of Elevator Dialogue here on the Uncle Junior Network. With me today, I got the small wolf pack, but that's okay. We're going to still rock and roll as we do every single week. We got Mr. Accountable Masculinity himself, Mr. Victor Viziant. We got the other artist, Mr. Antoine Christopher, down low. Look like he might be having some technical difficulties, just like across the table what Chris is too. So he's in the backstage. He's working on some things. But before we get started, gentlemen, how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing well.
Maybe just you, Antoine, a little choppy, but
yeah, you see him. He got them Game Boy graphics on right now.
That Nintendo 64.
Hey, ever since I got rid of that other internet I had, everybody else had it. It looked like a virus of some sort. They got digital herpes.
Hey, I don't know what it is. It's something.
Internet hurt.
Hey, it's something going on. Antoine, can you hear us?
Oh, he froze, man.
He can't hear us.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna blast him on front of everybody right now, but that's the
You
reason
gonna
why
get
we come in early, is to do all these
always sound
we
checks.
come in and do sound checks and mic checks.
Hey.
But Antoine be busy. Antoine is an artist, and you know that's my brother. I still love him. All those different things. But they are here. Chris is in the backstage right now. He's just popped up. I'll wait until he give me the green light that he ready to go, and then I'll bring him on. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in today. Today we're going to be talking about strength and responsibility, navigating men's empowerment through protection. Thank you everybody who has tuned in today, who's following, who's watching at home, all those different things. If you hadn't already, hit the like button, share it, all of those different things. And hold on, let me bring these gentlemen up. My mind was doing two things at once, Vic. That's why I made it sound like I didn't know what I was talking about.
Oh man, yeah, I saw you fluffing it, you know.
Yeah,
like
kind of fluff it a little bit. Yeah, and thinking at the same time while stuff was coming out of my mouth, and I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, you was putting some extra oregano on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Trying to just garnish.
Yeah,
Parsley.
hey, that's what I'm talking about. Charlotte Jordan, I call her Charlotte Ann. Mom, welcome to the show. Evening to you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, the Real Bravado Network. I'm giving him a quick plug right now. Shout out to him with the small shout out. He said, "What's good?" Even with the small wolf pack is right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, go over to the Real Bravado Network and subscribe. He goes live certain times. Go over there. Real good content creator, got a nice setup over there and all of that other stuff good going on.
Drop your link in there, TJ.
Yeah.
Drop your link in there, TJ.
Yeah. Drop your link in there, RBN. In the chat.
Yeah, I said hi to him a few times, right?
Yeah,
really
Vic's nice been on the show. I've been over there before and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna hi back.
Have some good shows be going. He be having some some good content, some good topics
some
over there.
Doozies.
Hey, I'm going over there.
Hey,
he said we get done by
getting into it.
Yeah. Did you ever bring people up to talk?
Yeah, I'm going over there.
There you go, right there. Hey, fellas, you guys get done. You can drop by. Hey, there we go.
Yeah, drop the link.
There you go.
I'm coming over.
You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over there and look, and I'm going to go check right now, and I'm going to see I'm going to go see what the topic is tonight.
Yeah.
Real Bravado, I'm going to be there tonight.
Oh my goodness.
Oh shit!
Come on, Vic. Come on, Chris.
Oh, shit.
I'm gonna come over. I might hang out in the comments.
Come on, you and me up there. Let's go.
No. Hey, look, I'm
let me see what the topic is. Let me see.
Let's see what the topic is first.
17. Oh, it's the 16th.
What you got? Hey, TJ, type something. Hey, if you hear me in the comments, man, just put it in the comments for us.
So tonight, it's on Real Bravado Network tonight, 9:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Rise and Death of the Black Family, Part 1. So
Ooh, I like that one.
Huh? You like that one?
Yes. Start with the woman and dies with the woman. I love it. Let's go.
There you go, RBN.
Come on, Chris.
Antoine already ready. So
angry Chris. Let's go.
Hey, so like I said, go over
there
tonight.
Vic. Come on, Vic. You know me and Vic will have a good one over there. Come on,
go over there
Vic.
tonight, 9:05 Eastern Standard Time, Real Bravado Network. Go over there and figure out what the rise and death of the Black family is. Part 1.
I'm terrified right now if Antoine's going to be on the show.
Go. I
You know
want to hang with
Antoine
my
will be off the
people.
chain over there.
Come on.
He already excited. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's excited.
Rising Death of the Black Family. I got a good one for that.
Hey, shout out to Liv, the empathetic coach. She has a YouTube channel as well by the same name. So go over there, check her out as well. She goes live on Saturdays, I believe, if she's still doing it at 7 or either 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But Liz, feel free to drop your link in the chat as well. With that being said, gentlemen, let's get into it. Tonight we are talking about strength and responsibility. All right. Men's empowerment. All these different things like that. So with that being said, hold on, I'm thinking again. So navigating men's empowerment through protection. So with that protection, there are a lot of different things that people say. Men are supposed to be the providers, they're the protectors, all of these different things like that. And I don't know how many times we've had this conversation, and Antoine said, what are we supposed to be protecting? When people are talking about, we have to protect the woman and different things like that. Antoine has mentioned before, like, what does that mean, or what are we talking about? So yes, we can talk about women, but it's not necessarily about women. It's about anything that we should be protecting. So we're going to start off with, at the end of the day, there are a lot of different things. There's our resources, there's our finances, there's our job, there's our family, there's our woman, all of these different things like that. So there are a lot of different things out there that people expect us to protect. So today I want to talk about what are some of those things that we should be protecting, and maybe what some of that looks like, and maybe just everything that kind of goes with this conversation or this topic, whatever like that. So I want to start off with just basics. What do you guys think at the end of the day? Who or what should we be protecting?
Your peace. You can't protect anything if you don't have peace with self. I think you have to work from the inside out and recognize what your weaknesses are, your vulnerabilities, and protection of your peace is the first, like a goal. Because if you don't have peace of mind, then you don't make good decisions. If you are unsettled emotionally, then your peace is already compromised and you're easily manipulated. You're easily deceived, and you're hard to correct, and you're hard to coach. You're not receptive. So protecting your peace is the first obligation when it comes down to self-regulation and, just being a responsible adult.
I would say your well-being and your health. Gotta protect that. You understand what I'm saying? It along with peace comes with having the physical capabilities to accomplish things. You understand what I'm saying? So I guess that would be a huge component of it too. Just protecting your well-being and being as healthy as possible for as long as possible, so you can do as much as possible and be useful to as many people as possible.
You muted, Antoine, but we see your lips moving. They're nice lips,
I also
Antoine.
think it means.
We want to hear what come out of them.
I also think it means. Stupid. I always think it means to protect one's possession, the lifestyle one has, to preserve it, right, and to prolong it as long and to keep achieving what you have, as in a steady, stable man that makes you whole. I think you need to protect that, right? I think that's something that's your base, what you're falling back in, because that's what you're bringing in to whatever you're going into.
Yeah, I like that. I think one of the things I thought about was family, or whatever it is I decide to include or call my family, and what I've kind of sort of drew a circle around. I think kind of what that looks like. I think men in general, kind of, especially when it comes to family, we kind of pick out a group or a certain amount of people or a certain type of people. For some, it may be family, some it may be friends, some of it may be their wolf pack or their boys, and they'll draw a circle around those things. And those are the things that they protect, to include themselves, their mindset, their well-being, their peace, all of these different things to go into that. So, but I also think that we also only protect things that we kind of sort of understand. And I think that we'll get more into that later on down the road, in the conversations, but I'll start with that. And backstage, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the front, ladies and gentlemen, the only mindset coach you will ever need, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dwayne Dwyer, the mindset coach. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
What's up, fellas? How's everything going?
And it's going well, brother.
Greetings,
Going
sir.
well.
Greetings, greetings,
Good
greetings.
seeing you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How's everybody doing?
Doing well.
I'm
Good.
strong, as always.
Strong. I love it. I love it. I love it. Look.
Oh, Lord.
What's up, bro?
Antoine's here.
Hey, listen, man. I don't want to derail the conversation, man. I'm late. Let's keep it rolling.
Man, you good then. All right. So what do you think some who or what should men be protecting?
Whatever they find value in.
Ooh, like
Mic
give me
drop.
one example of something that
A person who's committed to their cause,
mm,
their children, their family members, like anything or any person that is committed, that has shown and expressed the concept of commitment, not lip service, but commitment, to where you can look at their action to see that they're fully committed. That's what they'll protect.
I get that. I hear something in the background. Sound like somebody walking or clapping or something. I don't know what that is.
It might be a little bit of both.
It sounds like
It sounds like some Gucci.
My bad, man. I'm sorry. I apologize. That was my late joke for the day. I apologize.
that was a good one because I thought I heard some flip flops. I thought it sounded like somebody was sliding flip flops. Oh man, I got a whole bunch to say, but I ain't. My ghost just cut my Xbox on though.
See, that's what you heard.
Yeah, my Xbox just cut on. It's on. She cut it on. I got a ghost, but hey, where was we at, man? I didn't derail the conversation, not you, coach. Who or what should men be protected? We ran around the horn and said a bunch of different things. Good thing I got that crawl down there.
Who is that working the microwave?
Charlotte Jordan put something in the chat saying that you should protect your character.
You know what?
Reputation.
Oh, character. Let's talk about character. So how important is that? How important does character involve image?
Potentially.
Or is it different?
I don't think it's limited.
I would say it's a component of it.
Yeah, it's a component. I think it covers a wide range of things. Like when you start talking about character, you start talking about reputation, things that's associated with it, because your character is like it's the gateway to having a good conversation and a good connection. It determines what type of connection you're going to make with certain people, because like-minded people are everywhere. There's some people that we probably won't get along on every single topic, but there's somebody that confirms your bias or whatever your lean is. You know what I'm saying? So like, and that pivots off of your character. People make decisions on who they connect with based off of their character too. So I think it's important to make sure that you're not misrepresented.
Okay, so I see people post all kind of stuff, men, women, whoever, and they post all sorts of things on social media. So do you think that based off if I look at Antoine's social media, do you think I can tell something or anything about his character based off what he posts?
No,
if you're talking about protecting character.
No, you can identify something that he takes interest with that he has no problem with sharing. That's it. Like you have to look at social media is an indicator. Indicators are not absolute, but they are absolutely indicators. All of us are random. If you hung out on social media, if you spent a day hanging out on social media, you would get an overall understanding of what interests a person. You know what I'm saying? Based on what they engage with. Doesn't mean that that's all they are. That's just where they choose to communicate. Same people, like if you interact with them on Facebook, they might have less engagement on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. There's some people that you text, some people that you inbox, some people that you DM. You know what I'm saying? So it's a wide range of what's the topic that makes you guys, you know what I'm saying, connect from you know what I'm saying, from your timeline to what's going on in your head. So if you catch somebody on a Tuesday post a football game and everybody's talking, you know what I'm saying, about what happened on the Monday night football game, if you look at what they post, you don't know if you might be able to, you know what I'm saying, gain an understanding of that they like football at a minimum. How much they like the sport, that's something else. Some people just like trash talk. So it just depends on, like what Coach said, what does the person value, and that's what you'll really be able to see how to gauge. You know what I'm saying? You know, I guess elements of their character if you wanted to, based off of social media, but that's still a bias based on the person that's looking at it. Because if they go on there looking at social media to find whatever they're looking for as a disqualifier or qualifier, they can find it.
What you say, Coach? You shook your head no as well, that you can't determine a person's character by what they post on social media.
Yeah, I think social media is a moving target, man. I don't think you really get the true, authentic nature of most people on social media. There are some people who give you like their highlight reels, like you'll get the best version of them at any given point in time. But like Vic said, if you spend any significant amount of time with them, in retrospect, what you will find is that what they were posting is really not who they are. And then in some cases, you have some people who would actually give you a snapshot into their life. Like, I podcast. If you go on my social media account, you're going to see stuff like podcasting. You're going to see stuff like uplifting information. Like, that's what I do. And if you ever spend any significant amount of time with me, I'm going to find a way to uplift you and push you toward the best version of yourself. So I think when it comes down to social media, it's a moving target. I think it depends upon the person. I think you can't put too much stock into it. I think you have to get to know each person individually to understand who they really are.
Antoine, you with us?
I think social media doesn't say anything about a person's character. I think everybody puts up everybody embellishes on social media, right? I don't care who you are. I know you embellish, right? Your true character of who you are as a person, no, that's the person you are on social media, but that's not walking.
Yeah.
I think it's more about how they handle engagement on social media, like how you engage with multiple people when either you're challenged or you know, you feel like you might be out of your depth. Some people can get out of their depth and then they victimize themselves. You know what I'm saying? And then they act like somebody else is bullying them. But the reality is most people are in the wrong place to say the things that they're saying. TK Kirkland made a statement one time. He said, social media has put the little kids at the grown-ups table. So when you're talking, like we might be having an ongoing dialogue. Let's just say whatever, pick a platform, and all of us got, you know what I'm saying, a certain degree of relatable experience that to the point where we call ourselves the wolf pack, right? Someone outside of the wolf pack still got access to communicate with us and chime in, and it's up to us and how we respond to that. And if it doesn't match up with what we got going on, it's up to us how we react to the engagement. And how we react to it isolates, you know what I'm saying, the outside. You know what I'm saying? And it allows us to say, okay, these men have a character that doesn't get them distracted, you know what I'm saying, by people that are just being, you know what I'm saying, white noise in the background, you know?
Yeah.
I think if anything, social media tells you how people deal with distractions to a degree.
And I would also say that social media has a lot of fake tough people, like a lot of people that flap their gums. And I think Mike Tyson said it. Social media has made people comfortable saying whatever they want without getting punched in the face for it.
Yeah, keyboard warriors.
Yeah, bunch of tough guys punching keys, bunch of tough girls punching keys, but they never would say any of that to you in real life. You understand what I'm saying? I would say social media shows you a component of who a person is, but not the whole. It's like if you looked at my social media, all you would see is me lifting heavy shit. But I'm more than that. You understand what I'm saying? But that's what I do. That's what I focus on. That's what I love to do. You understand what I'm saying? But that's not all of me. You would have to get to know me offline to do that.
I got you. I got you. A real quick shout out to
But I
everybody
will
who's
say the
watching at
younger kids
home. What up,
today,
Antoine?
you,
What
I
up,
got to
Antoine?
say,
What up, Antoine? You may be delayed or something.
oh, I guess I'm late. Yeah, I got
Yeah,
to
you
say
got a
though, the
delay.
younger,
Hold on. Antoine got a delay or something. Hold on. So hold on, Antoine, then I'll get to you. Hey, I want to give a shout out to the chat and everybody in the chat. Want to hit a couple of comments real quick. I lost the comments. But anyway, want to give a shout out to everybody. I really wanted to hit this one right here real quick. I really want to give a shout out to the Real Bravado Network again. Like I said, they have a great platform over there. Thank you so much, brother, for the 50 spot. Really do appreciate it, man. Some of us going to plan on jumping over there tonight, man. So, like I said, we already shout out your channel and topic and everything like that, man. And some of us we actually looking forward to coming over there to see what you got going on tonight, man. So again, appreciate you, bro. If y'all haven't already, feel free to go over there and jump on this brother's network and his channel and go over there, subscribe to his platform. Again, man, I sure do appreciate it for real. Next up, so we started talking about social media and stuff like this. So how does social media play a part in kind of sort of determining how and what men should protect? Because we look at social media and we see this is what men are supposed to be doing and this is what they're not supposed to be doing, or vice versa. And then we also get stuff from home and uncles and different things like that. But right now, and I just want to stick to social media. So how has, or what part do you think that social media plays in determining what men should or shouldn't protect?
Open source intelligence.
What that mean
That
for us
means that
common
all
folk?
social media is something for you to go and investigate what they actually do during the common day. Not so much as for you to gauge their character, it's just see the activities that they're in. It is part of the information collection criteria that you use to make a decision. That's it.
Say it again, coach. It's just information. It's like in certain windows they call this stuff message traffic, and it's almost like I treat social media like AI. Like if I say something, it's like feedback in some kind of way, just generalized feedback, and then you make adjustments off of that. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to establish, like a better connection with your audience as a, speaking as a content creator, uh, all of us are content creators to some degree. So I think if you're using it the right way, it's a great engagement tool to consider other points of view and other perspectives. So I think when you see different perspectives and you get new information, and if the information is useful, it should change what you prioritize.
but I don't you find that I think for me, I see kids today with social media, they use it as who you are as a person. It's more serious for the ones coming up with it, that's growing up with it, than so the ones that are, kind of like not born into it. I think social media has a more of an influence on them than us. I think kids base their life around it with the bullying and the suicidal rates and all this sort of things that goes on in school. All this is based around social media. You do one thing and it's all of a sudden it's a post and it's a meme. And I think more kids today take that stuff a lot more serious than how we are taking it. I mean, it can't define who we are. We're men, right? But for them, it's the end all be all. For some of them, you make a bad call in football and you
I think
know
I think it's short sighted to say that it only affects them,
I didn't
because
say only in a sense only them. I think it affects them more than it affects us.
I think it affects everybody. Number one, both directly and indirectly. The scale of impact varies from the user to user. And what I mean by this is like for instance, Real Bravado Network said he's just now starting to take social media seriously as a major influence in people's lives. Social media has very little influence in his life, but he learned that recently others do. And the case in point is that how is it affected directly and indirectly, right? When the Capitol got stormed, that was organized on social media. So they used that platform to organize and create a mob type of situation, right? indirectly, all of us had to stop what we were doing to watch people overrun the Capitol, you know what I'm saying, to see if it was real. So, and then on top of it, let's just say you don't use social media, right? And you go to work, but you got a supervisor or a coworker that's heavily influenced by social media. And if you don't use it, that's cool. But you're dealing with people whose confirmation biases are being impacted and influenced by it too. So even if you don't use it, you're still going to be impacted by it in some kind of way, both direct and indirect. Now,
well, but Vic, it's fair to say, listen. So everybody uses. Everybody gets impacted by social media.
okay,
One way you cannot not use social media. I mean, if you go to apply for a job, they'll say go on my website and apply there. I mean, nothing is really paper anymore, right? I'm just saying the kids growing up into it, like they base their life on this stuff. Most of them do. They're all looking down at their phones for a reason. They all have Facebook for a reason. They're all connected for a reason. They're almost have all these apps for a reason. They're growing up into it more than you and I, who have better judgment. That's what I'm saying. It'll never impact my life like, oh man, that guy's got a car and I got a car. No, but for them, it's like, shit, look what he's driving. And they actually believe that shit.
But I think it's just a dangerous gray line though. You know what I'm saying? Or because we got to be careful about how we criticize the use of social media when we use social media to communicate. Like nothing bothers me more than when I see people get on social media to
We're
complain.
on social media right now.
We're using social media right now. Like
We're on YouTube live on YouTube and Facebook on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different platforms right now.
in how many different states at the same time?
I think that I would say this. I think social media plays a part in determining what men should protect because I think I would say this during the pandemic, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. Kevin Samuels got really hot, and the whole the red pill space got really big, and a lot of men got put on to new information that they had never heard before. Good, bad, or indifferent. One of the things I liked about what Coach said is that social media, it's almost like a gateway to give you an opportunity to do more research or to dig a little bit deeper. And I think that's great. I think that can be a great source and a beneficial impact of social media. Because if I see something that Chris says in this podcast next week, I can go back, I can watch this, and then I can go and research what Chris said. Chris can go over here. We've talked about it before. Vic have thrown out data points. Chris have thrown out data points and percentages and numbers and stuff like this. Antoine and probably we all have. But with that information, I can go back and I can fact check. Vic just said, oh man, well, women, file for divorce 86% of the time, or whatever the number is. Well, I can go back and I can look. I may not have never known that information. I may be getting ready to get married, but now this may be the first time I heard of this information. So now I'm like, hold up, wait, I'm a multimillionaire. And you mean to tell me that 86% of women file for divorce? Well, let me go and fact check this, and let me go see what I'm about to walk into. Good, bad, or indifferent. I think, like Coach said, it allows us to dig deeper into information and to research certain topics that we may not know about. And I think it can go the other way too, to whereas you have people who have been impacted by certain things they see on social media, and they are, when we talk about the January incident, those people at some point thought that maybe that they were protecting a certain right that they had, and good, bad, or indifferent. I know I keep saying that, but that's why they chose to do what they do. Social
Privilege.
media and their circle may have impacted them to think that, hey, this is okay. When they got the okay from 45, you know what I mean? At least that's what they thought based off of a previous speech that he had said or something like that. They probably thought that they had a green light to go do and protect whatever they felt that they needed to protect. So I think that social media can play a huge part in determining what men should protect. That's a source of information, and information is how we make decisions.
I would say it kind of distorts it.
What
It
is
kind of
that?
distorts what a man is supposed to protect as far as family, as far as home, as far as
Social
things like
media?
that. Yeah. There's so
But I
many
think it
people telling
depends
you
on
so
what you
many different,
tune into.
and that's the thing. That's what I was about to go into. There are certain people with certain algorithms that'll point them to men need to protect this, and then there are certain people with other algorithms that say men are supposed to protect that. It's like which one is it? Like, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to protect? When really it's up to the
Supposed to
man
do what Coach
himself.
said. Do more
You know what I'm saying?
research.
Right. It's up to the man to figure out what's important to me to protect instead of listening to all of these talking heads on the internet telling me what I should and should not be doing.
Social media, the use of it, and in terms of like protection, equated like think about it with me for a second. Treat Take the word social media out and turn it into a firearm. You know what I'm saying? You need training, you need repetition, you need good mechanics, to use it effectively. And if you don't use it effectively, you can deal with some consequences that come from that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's by itself is just an information hub. You could choose to just look and never put anything out. You could just consume information, synthesize it, you know what I'm saying, tailor your timeline, and you know what I'm saying, and get something that reflects your interests. You can use it as a weapon because it's been used as a weapon. Absolutely used as a weapon. They take people to jail off of social media all the time. You know what I'm saying, with what they communicate. It's an information sharing tool. Like if you want to get somebody doxxed, social media is where it happens at on a regular basis. Y'all saw what happened with that Montgomery brawl. Like the same day, they already had all of the information of the people involved and saying this is where their locations are.
Roll
It is
Tide.
public information too.
Roll Tide. That's how they do down
Whole
there
time. Yeah, hey, look,
But see,
Alabama.
on the flip side of that,
Bulldogs.
you had people on social media talking about that, saying what side was right, what side was wrong, what side did the protection thing right, what side did the protection thing wrong. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like I said, man, it's just a bunch of talking heads just flapping their gums and tapping their keyboards because 9.5 times out of 10 they would never say that in real life to the person that they are talking to.
oh, all day. All day. Like there's some people that you gotta think crimes get committed off of social media, like assaults. We'll
Crimes
say
get committed on social media.
on social media, on live. Like you can't just look at it as just social media. Matter of fact, hey, like when I wrote this book, I just stripped off everything that I had wrote on social media before they fried my first page. You know what I'm saying? And it all went into this book. So it's a journal draft tool for me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like in-game assessments. So like if you observe behavior and like whatever your niche is, right? I get a chance to interact with people that share, what I'm saying, the same interests. And once you start having your interests validated and you build a community out of that, you definitely need to protect your character and your representation. You know what I'm saying? So social media is part of that. It's part of how you like market. It's part of how you share information. And it's not the only tool. It's like Wikipedia for humans. And the humans populate the the database.
And let's not forget, social media has employed a lot of people to become millionaires and achieve their goals and find their niche. And it gave a lot of losers some jobs.
It's not just social media.
Let's be real about that, man. Some of the stuff you see, you're like, there's no way this guy went to school. And
this is what I'm saying. It's not just social media. Like we try to box it in and put it over here and act like it's not. We pick and choose when we want to take it serious. When it comes down to it. But 10 years later, we still frustrated about social media. We done went from MySpace, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever, and it went from clowning YouTube to when they say, oh, you got a degree on YouTube University. And now people say, let me go to YouTube and see if this thing is, accurate. Or if something happens now, they don't go look at the news. The news uses social media. News channels publish their updates to social media. What does that tell you? It goes from Reuters and it hits the wire, the AP wire, and then it's on social media. So it's no different than any streaming service. It's no different than going from watching regular TV to watching streaming services to get a more focused, set of content. So
what you got, Coach?
We got to box it in the right way.
So I'll take it a step further. It's not only a medium for you to gather information, it is also a medium for you to protect your boundaries as well. Right? So when it comes down to social media, like I use me for an example, when it comes down to a lot of the things that I portray in the atmosphere, I have this thing what they call an intellectual brand license. So that means that no one can use my content without my approval. And if they use my content without my approval, then that means that we need to have a conversation because that's what the license is for. So when it comes down to intellectual brand, yes, there's social media, but then by that same token, there's also like if you look at the bottom of my YouTube stuff, there is a blurb down there that tells everybody like, hey, you can't come at me based upon the stuff that I say. But then by that same token, when you go and pirate the stuff that I say, then I can come to you and say, hey, one or two things are going to happen. Either you, if you are trying to collect royalties based upon something I'm saying, you owe me a portion of it, or you got to take it down. One of those two things. That's what the license is for. So when it comes down to social media, what we have to understand is that social media, a lot of people tend to look at it as kind of like a free-for-all. It doesn't work that way. Social media also puts into play the things that the boundaries that you want to protect, and it gives you another measure to protect it as well.
Intellectual property is like instant intellectual property.
What about fair use?
That depends. That depends. Fair
Everything
use,
ain't fair use.
right?
It
Fair
depends on
use.
if you're using it and putting some sort of change to it to make it your
Has to be
own, or if you're
repurposed.
just, you understand what I'm
Right.
saying, or if you're just streaming it.
You
You
can't.
understand what I'm
Right.
saying? Without anything,
You can't just
anything.
stream ESPN.
Right.
Right. Exactly. Or you just can't take something at face value and
Yeah.
use it for your purpose. Right. If I take a thing like case in point, I'll give you a perfect example. Remember a couple of weeks back, I used a snippet from Everybody Hates Chris. Right,
Mm.
right. So soon as I put that up there and that video ended, YouTube said, "Hey, copyright infringement," because I used it as face value. Now, I could have fought it and they would have went back and looked at it and said, "Okay, he wasn't using this to sell anything, even though his channel is monetized, because that video is in there. We can't pay him for this channel." So that's what that would look like. So only thing I had to do was go back in, cut that video out, and we still had the talking points. We just didn't have the video. That's the difference between fair use and taking something and using it for your gain. That's the big difference. You can use anything for fair use, but fair use means that you take it, use it as a talking point, and spin off of it. But once I use it and then try to use it for my gain, that's no longer fair use.
Gotcha. Somebody gave you 100 for that, so I'm put it on up there. Since we kind of talking about the social media, and I think we may have hit it, but I kind of want to kind of adjust a little bit. You know what I mean? So we all got families and uncles and dads and grandmas and different people like that in our family, and then we also have what society considers an expectation on what men are supposed to do. Some people say that men are supposed to protect all women. Some people say that men are supposed to, protect the women and kids and different things like that. So, how do societal expectations and cultural norms impact men's understanding of their role in protection? So, not social media anymore, but social expectations and cultural norms, or just anything when it comes to cultural. How do
But
they
give
see
me,
impact?
give me some context behind this. Protect
Like
women.
you,
Well,
Like,
you're
from
from
like I get the family thing. I get the cousins and the brother. I want, in general, what is this protection? What are you protecting them from? Like
That's
themselves?
where we
from
started
what
the
I've
show
seen,
at.
yeah, from what I've seen, based on the conversations that I've had, the people that I talk to, and I know you said we're not talking about it, but social media with quote unquote protection as far as men goes, there's supposed to be a sense of blind loyalty behind it. We're supposed to protect just because and for no other reason. Like when you brought up protect all women, you understand what I'm saying? It's because they're women and that's it. You understand what I'm saying?
Only a fool is blind.
I guess
But
I'll say
but
this.
see, most people, I agree with you. That's why I don't. That's why I do not do blind loyalty anymore. I protect those who are not putting themselves in harm's way on purpose.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
understand what I'm saying? But there will be a portion of people that will take that snippet of what I just said and put me in a box that I have absolutely no business in because what I just said doesn't go along with what society is trying to push out. You understand what I'm saying? Culturally, it honestly depends on the culture. It
Yeah.
really does. It depends on
So
the culture.
so
so
let's
right
say
and
for
wrong is out the
standpoint.
window or what?
Right and
Well,
wrong is supposed to be out of the window when somebody holds a position in your life. And that's just it. At least that's what I have seen. And actually that's what I have experienced in my life. You know what I'm saying? People expect you to just be there just because they're who they are or the position that they have in your life, not whether or not they are right or wrong. And I'm at the point now where I'm like, I'm asking questions. Like I'm not coming over there and wigging out just because you want me to. You understand what I'm saying? I need context as to why you even called me in the first place for this. You understand what I'm saying? But there are society doesn't want that from men. They just want us to just go. We're just expendable like that. At least that's from what I've seen.
and when
That's
it
some
comes to
crazy.
like cultural norms and stuff like this, say for instance, Antoine, you're from Trinidad, right? Say for instance, the cultural norm is that we protect all women, right? And say for instance, where I'm from in whatever Virginia, this we wasn't taught that way. We were taught that if a woman hit you, you hit her back. Say for instance, that's what I was taught. Well, that's going to impact my life differently than yours being raised to protect all women. You know what I mean? So even now, when we talk about, society norms and expectations and stuff like that of men and protection, you know, I ain't gonna go there. I'll leave it alone. But just like I said, just like I said, it depends on where you're from, may determine that cultural norm. So, say for instance, you're from a culture to where you were taught that it's okay to hit another person back. Remember, another woman, she's a person too. So, at the end of the day, I'm not advocating for violence or anything like that. I'm just using this as a talking point. If someone grew up and they were taught as a cultural norm that no one hits anybody. And if you hit someone, then they're allowed to hit you back. If you grew up that way, and then you're out in the world and you're in certain areas, and then you choose to exercise said informational knowledge that you grew up with, you may impact your way into jail, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what I mean by like there are different cultural norms, and how can some of these cultural norms impact men going forward and their role in protection. So back to the question, anybody want to jump on it? It says clarification.
I don't agree with any of that protect women and all that shit. I ain't doing any of that. I'm protecting what's right and what's wrong. I throw you under a bus. You hit me, you're waking up tomorrow. I don't care who you are. You shouldn't put your hands on me in the first place. I will walk away. I will do what I need to do. I'll put myself in a positive area. I will step back. But you keep chasing me. You keep chasing me. You push me. I see the hand coming. I'm blocking. I'm hitting you back, and I'm going my way. That's exactly how it is. I'm not letting anybody hit me for no reason. I don't care who you are. You can be drunk. That's okay. I get it. You got a reason. You're sloshing all over yourself. All right. There's certain passes you get, but there's consequences to your choices you make. You know, I don't care who you are. There's choices. You have a choice. Now, if you're getting out of line and your boy is not putting you in check, saying, "Hey, bro, woo, I'm here too." I mean, if he doesn't do that and puts you in harm's way, first of all, he wouldn't be my friend anymore. That'd be done with that. But I'm not gonna put myself in a position to have to protect an idiot. No, I'm walking away. I'm good. I live to fight another day. I'm good. And I don't think anybody should do that.
So how were you raised when it comes to protecting women?
Well, I was raised not to hit women at all. Not at all. But if anybody strikes you, you have every right to defend yourself. Every right to defend yourself. Don't take the slap. You can block the slap. Block it like if you were blocking a man's fist coming towards your hand. Step out of the way. Move away. If it connects, push that person back. Not just, oh, no, calm down. Oh, no. My father's like, no, you're already black. You need more than that. Used to, no. No. You know.
Thoughts?
I think this comes down to how you was raised. I think it's about how your empathy is set up. Everybody doesn't see the same sense of urgency in some things. You know,
How do the cultural norms, like the cultural norms, impact all of that stuff?
That I think the cultural norms, like that plays off the empathy thing. You know what I'm saying? Like in your house, however you were raised, you take that on the other side of the door, and you go out into the world to test how you were raised. Like if you go to school and you challenge the teachers, you know what I'm saying? You say, my mama taught me this. My mama, you know what I'm saying, showed me how to do it this way. So I don't trust what you're telling me, you know? So you can try and see if that works, but eventually you're going to hit enough, you know, like walls to where you have to go back and question the information that you were sent out of the house with, right? So when you go outside the door with how your empathy and your home training is set up and how that meshes with your instincts, it is going to define what you choose to, you know what I'm saying, jeopardize your safety with. Everybody got like a plan that requires them to conduct violence if necessary, you know, but everybody doesn't qualify for your, you know, your emergency energy. And that's just what it comes down to. And between empathy, finances, the cost of just doing certain things, like you have to weigh that out. Like for instance, that Montgomery brawl, everybody said we got to protect this man, and they didn't care what was going down. You know what I'm saying? It was like this man need help. He getting assaulted, and everybody else showed up to help.
Which one was that? Which one was that? The what you said?
It was
The boat brawl where the security
Oh yeah, what was
dude
that about? I never got the story on that.
some guy
The
parked his
Alabama-
boat in the wrong spot. The security guard moved it, and
he
then the
caught them
guy's
hands.
boat, the guy's boat,
He got the village
you know what I'm
hands.
saying? The guy
Okay.
whose boat it was got upset, and next thing you know, a brawl broke out. And
The
then
Wolfpack showed up.
yeah, the wolf pack showed up. He had his people coming to help him, and then you had people from all sides of everywhere coming to smash everybody. They didn't even know what the situation was. They just saw this man who was quote unquote doing his job getting jumped. And so they said, nah. And it was, I hate to even bring this up, but it turned into a race thing because the security guard was a black man. And
And to clarify,
the
he wasn't a security guard. He was a second deck mate that actually operates the vessels. So
Wow.
he
also
wasn't.
he had like some type of like authority.
He had real authority. You know what I'm saying? So like, but everybody tried to paint him like a security guard or stuff like
Yeah.
that. But he was trying to get a boat to dock, and then the people that had their basically had their boat docked in the wrong spot, and he was telling them to get it moved. And since they weren't around, he had started making, you know, like decisions based on his authority, his position. They didn't like it. They decided to assault him after being wrong. And when he threw that hat up, you saw what happened. You know, like
It was like the Avengers came out of nowhere. It was like the scene in Endgame where Doctor Strange brought the whole crew. You
yep,
understand what I'm saying? That's why you see chair memes everywhere.
yeah.
I got assaulted with
I
a
was-
chair. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, like I
Usually-
said, man, the whole thing is just distorted and I don't know, man. I miss the days when people thought for themselves.
Come on,
Community
Mike.
Garfield.
Look at
Even right there, what should those people been protecting? Like, think about that the guy who jumped off the boat and ran over there. Should he been protecting that guy? Is that his responsibility? Is that his role to go in there and protect? You know, Coach said of things that we value. So why was that any of his business? Should he have been there protecting that? Go ahead, I'm
Well,
listening.
I'm gonna say again, this goes back to local culture and courtesies. You see what I'm saying? Like in the South, that's the way it gets handled when somebody steps out of pocket. Other places might have a riot with a whole bunch of people using the injustice that actually occurred to do something else, some have a different agenda. In this situation, they used the disrespect as a reason to get, you know what I'm saying, as a reason to retaliate, and it was justifiable for a change. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference between where things happen at. You know, like when you see a lot of these racial events, or they might be racial on the surface, of course. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. But they don't get handled the same way everywhere else. There's less likely of an occurrence of those events based on geography. Like that event right there wouldn't have happened in Montana. If it did, we never would have saw it. But if there was a place to try it and get it wrong, they did it in the right place. So you can see the difference.
I agree
Because
with that.
everybody doesn't respond the same way. You can't do the same thing in every zip code. You just can't. You can't do the same thing in every time zone that you would do over here. So
Yeah.
that's just what it is. That's what culture is.
I got it.
So you know what? That makes a lot of sense.
We have we got a platform, and part of what we do is we try to help with or at least talk about solutions, right? So what could people, how is certain behaviors, like how is jumping in and helping, how is that beneficial to the guy going forward? Like, how does the choice that he making that decision, how does that impact him going forward? Like, we're all about coming up and being better men and getting better. So we're also about providing information based off of our own experiences to other people. So I understand that all of those things happen, different area codes, different things like that. At the same time, if we're looking going forward, we're talking about an event that most people saw on social media. So people are going to be impacted based off of what they saw on social media. So how does that behavior or helping impact them in a positive way going forward without
So,
reading the book
so I
or
wanna, I
today?
wanna, I wanna respond not about that situation, right? But I want to respond with this question
Mm-hmm.
by saying that when you look at this question, you understand that this question is based upon a level of maturity. Because once you understand a few things better than what you did when you was a young teen bopper or tyke or whatever you want to call it, then I don't really care what society expects. I don't really care what the common culture expects me to do. I'm gonna do what I know is right. And you can
Exactly.
have your opinion of it all you want to. Make sure you do two things: keep it to yourself and say it low enough so I don't hear it. Because
That's
at
it.
that
I
point,
agree with that.
now you and I got to have a conversation. We ain't finna fight. We just gonna have a conversation about it. Because at the end of the day, you're misled because you seem to believe that your opinion overshadows what I know that is right. That's another thing. Too many people are overly opinionated in the society. Here's the deal: you are virtually in line with having your opinion. You're out of line when you feel like you have a right to express your opinion. Because I'll be the first person to tell you, I don't care what your opinion is compared to what I know is right. So I think when you look at this question right here, what we need to understand is that this is a question based upon maturity. It doesn't matter what society expects. They can expect in one hand, and like my grandfather used to say, piss in the other, and see which one fills up first. Because at the end of the day, I don't really care what you expect. I'm gonna do what I know is right, and as long as I know that that is what's right, that's what I'm gonna do. You can expect and believe and hope all you want to, but that has nothing to do with what I've got going on.
Clip that for coach. Piss in one hand and put expect in the other and wait for it to fill up.
Do not clip that. I'm telling you, because if you clip it, I'm coming after you. I told you.
That's actually a clip right there.
Yeah, that's
Just-
good.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Don't do it.
No, but we all can agree. We all
Network.
can agree. You would want to do what's right, right? I mean, I don't know. Let's say I don't know the details of this sailor thing, but if you see the guy getting his ass whooped, I mean, I wouldn't stand by with my phone filming it like most of these idiots do. You don't want to see a guy get whooped by 7 other guys. You're gonna
Maybe
do
he
something.
deserved it because you don't know the context behind it. If I
But
see
the fact
somebody
that
walking up, I ain't automatically going to jump in.
No, well, listen. I don't want to hear that the guy died later, knowing that you could have done something. You could have done something. That's like you're not gonna. I don't think you should stand. Like I wasn't raised with. I never really saw a woman hit a man. I wasn't around that, right? So when I see it today, I'm like, are you serious? Like, doesn't she know what this can do?
I got
like
a story for you, Antoine, since you've never
right?
seen
So
it.
I don't know, but when I seen it, let me tell you, it was a culture shock for me. I was like, what the hell?
I got a
Does she know
story
that
for
this
you.
decides to retaliate? So I agree with Coach what he said. You know, that's right.
I got a story for you. I used to have an OG long time ago. You know what I'm saying? I used to call him my uncle. We wasn't related, but he was like somebody that he was one of those guys that would send me home when the real stuff was about to pop off, like the type of OG like that. He was walking down the street one day and saw a man and a woman getting into a fight. He went to go help the woman and wound up getting stabbed by the woman he was helping.
Jesus.
So I mind my own business. I have to, and it's a self-preservation thing. I don't know what the dynamic is. I don't know why she's getting beat up. I don't know why she's hitting on him. I'm out of the way. No, you understand what I'm saying? I'm you know what I'm saying? Unless it's somebody that I came with, like if we were out and something popped off like that, yes, I'm jumping in. It is what it is. But if I'm just walking down the street and I see a group of people just going at it, I'm leaving.
I'm leaving.
That is not, that's not my business, and that's not a punk thing to do.
No, it's not.
But I'm just saying that's a cultural norm. That's a cultural norm. You understand what I'm saying? From where I'm from, I'm supposed to hop in regardless. You know what I'm saying? But I'm about self-preservation now. I'm minding my own business.
That's what independence is. Like you can't be independent and then complain about a lack of protection.
And that's like, I'm with you, Chris. I'm like that too. I kind of grew up. Everybody in the neighborhood was like, when one fight, we all fight. Now we did that with my siblings, but we were blood. You know what I mean? Like that was different. We were elementary school and we were very small kids. I'm still small. You know what I'm saying? But I think, there was a time in my life when Coach was talking about maturity where I did have that mindset that, hey, this is where I'm from. This is how we do things. We bang this regardless, no matter what. If Coach get in a fight, I'm fighting too. Now I'm just like, look, bro, I got money and I got other stuff on the line. I got my health on the line. Coach might work out. Coach might be strong. He might can handle his business. Coach will have me have his mouth, trying to cash a check that his butt. You know what I mean? That whole thing, I now feel like George Bush. Fool me once, you can't fool me 2 times. You know what I'm saying? That's
you believe that's
like I said.
But see, that's the thing, man. We have sense.
Hold on, Chris. Yeah, like back in the day, I was like, let's do it. But now I'm just like, no, man. Like I need more context before I rumble.
We have sense now. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying? So that's why I said if we were going out.
But do you believe that somebody
would get into a fight? Say that again.
Would you ask me, Antoine? Oh, I don't know what he said.
Do you believe that as a counselor too in schools, you have to just step back? Oh,
I manage my personal life different.
You hear me? Am I late?
My professional life.
No, we heard you. But see, like I said, man, we have sense. You know how. We have discernment. We know what to do and what not to do.
There's a time and a place for everything.
There is a time and a place for everything. And that's why I said if we were all out and one of us got into a fight, I know that it wasn't on us, because we're smart enough to understand that if I do this, I have all of that I might lose. But if there's no option, then I know that, you understand what I'm saying? Then I know that it's justified for me to hop in and try to do something.
Men have
None
come.
of us would go, none of us are silly enough to come out the side of our mouths to anybody out here, because we have too much to lose. And we have too many people depending on us. You understand what I'm saying?
Men
Yeah,
have code. Discernment. That's
we
what
do.
code
Don't we?
is.
And I like it.
Garfield, how do they do it in school though? Do you break them up or no?
As far as what? Be more specific, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like if two kids start going at it, right? And you're there, and these kids are tall today. They're big boys today, boy. I see some of them. Do you take it upon yourself to say, stop what you're doing, or do you say, you know what I mean? Like, do you call security? Like, what's the procedure? Like, what's the procedure today?
I mean, you break it up. I'm in the elementary school, so you break up the fight. And they usually don't get to a couple of throws. It ain't really in depth like in high school or anything like that.
Okay.
At least not so far. But I'm sure there are some strong kids out there and stuff like that. I haven't seen a whole bunch of it. Like I've been there for 6 years. I haven't personally broke up any fights. So but I know we have one or two probably a year or so, but it's not really extreme or anything. But if I see a fight, then I'm going to break it up. But those are elementary schools. Those are 5 through 12-year-olds, 5 through 11-year-olds. So
Gotcha.
I don't when I'm at work, I don't feel real threatened by those students.
Cause that culture, that culture is not a threat to your personal safety the same way it would be if you were in high school.
Yeah.
Because the environment dictates that,
High
like,
school kids can whoop me.
Yeah.
Like bad.
Yeah. You're like, where you are dictates who's in the environment too. And when you're in a different environment, the food chain is different. You make different decisions based on what what the environment gives you anyway. So like that's why I said ultimately, if you're independent and self-sufficient, you're going to make different decisions than people that need approval before doing something that's morally right. People that have to be convinced and and pushed into doing something right are
and
different.
not afraid of being told that they doing something wrong.
Like what
because
Coach
they doing
says,
something
I
right.
don't care. Yeah, all of us got opinions and and principles that we'll stand on with each other. Like if you have something to say about any of the assessments that I make, I can back it up. And speak on it intelligently without a fight involved. But there's a difference between somebody that's just trying to challenge you to be creatively disagreeable and just troll you, and then a person that asks you in-depth questions so you can get some different insight. Kind of like when we backstage after the show, and sometimes our post conversations run a little bit long because it's still informative because we teach each other things, right?
Right.
So like that discernment comes from like, okay, this person's really just asking a genuine question. This person is being antagonistic. We can tell when people are being antagonistic, right? So that's not that's a boundary. Anything that like makes you feel defensive is truly a boundary. You getting into somebody else's space, or they coming into yours. You know what I'm saying? So you still got the invitation to leave at all times. It's just
Hey, here's what we're going to do. We got about 30 minutes, actually 25 minutes left in the show, but I want to make sure we get to some of these true-false questions before we end the day. We don't have to rush, but we got 10 of them. We don't have to rush through them. So if you want to elaborate, feel free to do so. The first one is true or false? The concept of protection for men solely refers to physical defense and safeguarding.
I would say false.
false.
I would say false. I would
Yeah.
say that it's a component of it because men should be capable. Like I said before, when we were doing the clips and you showed that when you showed that Jordan Peterson video, men should be capable of extreme levels of violence, but they should have the thought behind it to not do it unless it's absolutely necessary. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? It's a component of it, but that's not the sole concept. No.
Physical defense. Gun, no gun. Put up your dukes and fight or what? What is
Yes.
physical? Yes and yes.
Yes, all that. Let me say
Okay.
something, bro. I'm put it like that. I'm gonna say it like this right here.
Say it.
I'm almost 50 years old. I ain't got time to be tussling with none of y'all. I got a 12 gauge shotgun. I promise you, I don't care what you benching, you will back up.
Yeah.
There you go.
Don't matter what you benching.
That's it.
When them
Damn
pellets
right.
coming, it's
I
real
learned that
fast.
lesson a long time ago. I used to go to
Yeah.
the gym and throw iron around like a madman. I'm like, man, what I'm doing that? Why am I killing myself to do all that? I done got back injuries, elbow injuries, shoulder injuries for doing crazy stuff, bro. So I stopped. I go to the gym. If I go to the gym now, it's lightweight, heavy reps. That's it. That's
Yep.
all I am lifting today to stay in shape. Anything I'm doing right now is for health reasons, not deterrence. That's why I got guns. Plenty of them. I ain't got time
Say
for all
not
that.
deterrence.
Yeah,
Nah, I
and
ain't got time
like
for
Coach
that.
said, man, we we are of the age where we should not be fighting in the streets anyway. I don't
Yep.
fight. I press charges.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You put your hands on me, it's gonna be the
Oh,
last
so
thing
you
you
a
do for the
snitch.
next.
Hey,
it-
no, that's
you
not.
put your hands on.
That's
You
not.
It's
a
not.
snitch?
Hold on, wait a minute. It's not snitching because I'm
I
not
know.
a
I'm
criminal.
just. That's what we get when
He's
people say, "Hey,
antagonizing.
I'm just going to call the law." Now we
Right.
all snitches.
And
Now.
that's
Yeah, he's
another.
antagonizing.
But see, that's another cultural norm. If you
Mm-hmm.
call the police for any reason, you are a snitch.
Mm-hmm.
Look, listen. If you put your hands on me, I'm calling the police, and then by law, I'm allowed to defend myself. And if I have to defend myself, I'm going to defend myself to the absolute most because I don't know what you are capable of. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to defend myself to the point where I feel like my life is on the line because potentially it could be.
I'm gonna use the same line the police use. I fear for my life,
Exactly. You
and then
understand
I'm
what I'm saying?
write it
And I
down.
will stand by that.
Oh man, you 185 pounds. She only 95 pounds.
Then she should have
Listen,
known better.
You need to
listen,
make
listen,
95-pound decisions.
I'm just
listen,
saying,
listen,
this is
listen.
what
She
we
saw
get.
195 pounds too. She
This
saw
is-
it before
this
she
is-
did something stupid.
You got to
She
pay
saw
like
it.
this is gonna probably land me in that box that I told you about. But I believe that men have the right to defend themselves no matter who it is. And I think women do things like that because there's always going to be some protect all women ass simp that'll come to their rescue. I believe that they should cash the checks that they mouth right.
I mean, equal
Wow.
rights. Never mind. I ain't gonna go there today. But I get it. I don't want to spend too much time on it. But I do want to get to the next one real quick. Not real quick, but I want to get to the next one. The role of protection for men has remained static and unchanged throughout history. Some people like to think so.
false.
I think that's false. I think that's false.
The fact that we having this conversation says it's,
Yeah.
and
This conversation
Exactly,
is just,
Vic, exactly.
yeah, I would say
Well,
false too.
let's
But I
spend
would
a
say
minute
that
or two here.
I would say that they're trying to make it static, meaning that we have to do it no matter what. But as the way that it is written right now, yeah, that's false.
I think there's too much pro-feminism for this to even be a reality. I think there's more of a push for women's superiority than it is for men to even defend themselves.
Explain that. What do you mean by superiority?
Me,
women.
like we're talking about just propping, pedestalizing women. You know what I'm saying? In media narratives, while shaming men for the decisions that they make for self-preservation. Like,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because I find that based on what you just said, I just find that to be and I'm going to say it, a real man, a man that's masculine, man that that's a man. I think that's so looked down upon now. I think that whole what's it called? It toxic masculinity. And I think that's like ridiculous. Because you're gonna want me to get up in the middle of the night when you hear that bump. I'm gonna have to be that masculine man. If you sound off at the mouth, I'm gonna have to split you up from slapping that other girl. I'm gonna have to be that man. And then when I split you up from biting that other girl, I'm the one that has to deal with the boyfriend. So this toxic shit is unbelievable. I find today men are being so demasculated. Like I said, more men today are so pussified. It's like you can't just say it, you know. It's like you have to choose your words wisely. And no, you're fat and you're ugly too.
Jesus H.
Get over it.
Oh man,
Jesus Christmas, man. It's like you have to. Well,
Bring it back.
your face is physically challenged.
That's
Bring it back.
subjective.
Come
I'm
on
gonna
back.
say this, and I'm gonna
Just
say
like,
this, and then I'm
I'm
gonna leave
tired
it
of this,
alone.
man.
I
It's
am
all
too.
so-
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave it alone. Feminism wouldn't exist unless feminism wouldn't exist if men didn't support it.
So first and foremost, Antoine, my brother, you did not let me down. I promise you, I was talking about that word today. And you did, and you brought. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. No, but listen, back to the point though. I think this has absolutely nothing to do with femininity, feminism, none of that stuff. I think this has to do with ignorance of men who have literally accepted the mantle that their identity is defined by provision and protection. That's all this is. And for every man who describes himself as a provider and a protector, woe unto you. Because if you stop at protector, you don't even understand who you are. Men are so much more than that. So I say that that's what this is. It has nothing to do with feminism.
Say
Like,
that.
take feminism and throw them out the door. Forget all of that. Like if you don't know who you are, then surely you will actually lean in a direction to anybody who gives you a description.
That's a lot to unpack right there, Coach. Because
Yeah, that's what I was. Woo.
with so
That's
few
a
words,
show.
yeah, like with so few words, like I understand why you said disregard the feminism piece because you can plug and play anything into that space. Because if you don't know who you are, you'll get manipulated by it no matter what. When you get deceived by people, it's because you deceived yourself first. So, and a lack of identity is always you can always codify it by the decisions that people make. Because
Right.
when you know yourself, you just don't make certain decisions. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's just no matter what, no matter how bad you might be doing or how well you might be doing, you don't switch up. You know, um, you make decisions that reflect your character, like we was talking about earlier. So I think when you know who you are, I agree with Coach when he says it in that aspect. But but you can put a bunch of different components in there
Right.
and get the same outcome every time.
Right. That's why I love hearing women talk about what a real man is. Like, are you kidding me right now? That's like me going to tell a NASCAR driver what he needs to do to get better. It doesn't even pass the common sense test.
It doesn't,
You haven't even experienced a real man. And
you
if
can't
you're using
respect
your
experience.
right, and if you're using your daddy as the example, stop kidding yourself. He was just your daddy. That don't mean he was real, and it don't even mean he was good. So
Yep.
what we need to do is pull ourselves out of this arrogant state of thinking we know the opposite sex better than what the opposite sex know about themselves. Stay in your lane. You stop talking about women. Stop talking about quote unquote real men because a real man is a man that goes to the bathroom to stand up and urinate. That's what a real man is. The only person who defines a real man is the creator. The only person who defines a real woman is the creator. So men stop talking about what real women do. Everybody needs to stay in their lane and build their own brand. That's it. That's the only answer.
I
Build
agree
your
with that.
brand.
I like it.
You know what I'm saying?
So, with that being said, and we kind of touched on it earlier, men's role in protection is limited to their immediate family and close friends.
False.
I'm kind
It's,
of like Chris. I'm kind of leaning towards yes. Um,
I think it's false. I think men's role in protection is limited to what they value. They may not value immediate family. They may not value close friends that way. You know what I'm saying? Because you can have some close friends that you know what their habits are, and you still don't get up and go get in their business. You know what I'm saying? So like I think it's a case by case basis. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you
Yeah.
answer true from the get go, then it's harder to take it back. But if you say false and then you use discernment and judgment, you can always, you know what I'm saying, correct yourself. But like if you jump out too fast and try to help some people that created the chaos, when you find out, you can be like, you had me helping you and you out here burning bridges already, then you're gonna feel some kind of way.
I might have thought yes for about a couple of seconds, but then that word limited got me going back to false all day long. Um,
I got
I,
a
I,
million family members
I
I would
like
never help.
I like what Coach said, about what you value and my value, what I choose to my role in protection is not limited just immediate family and close. It may not even include immediate family, just being honest. Um, just being honest.
That's why I
So
talk about blind loyalty all the time. That's kind of what I got from
but that,
this.
that would be
I
blind
think family
loyalty
gets
then.
priority. I think
That's
family
ex-
gets a little bit
But
more priority.
isn't that blind
You know,
loyalty just
in my
family or
household,
Listen,
priority?
family gets a little bit.
listen. I don't care if you are related to me. I don't care if we are best friends. If you out here starting noise and writing checks, you're letting your mouth writing checks, your ass can't cash, you about to go to the bank. I'm
Take
not
care of it,
dealing. I'm,
Chris.
you know, what I'm saying
Clip that.
I'm not doing that, man. Like, no, I do not do
I
blind
agree.
loyalty, man. I don't, because that and that's why I said, man, there a lot of people do things because they know that they have that protection, whether or not they are right or wrong. I ask questions.
Whole lot
Look,
of people in
man,
jail for blind loyalty.
Travis
Exactly.
Rudolph, Travis Rudolph. Did we just not see that where the woman called her brothers to the house and he wound up having to get a weapon and shoot two of her
Yeah.
people because
Two
she
two
mad,
Man,
lives
I don't
lost
be
because
watching
she
none
was
of that
mad.
stuff, man. I
huh?
be
I
missing
remember that
everything.
case.
They just be making up anything, bro. Like everybody don't That's why
But
I don't.
that's what I mean, Vic. That's what I mean.
That's
Like the
blind
whole.
loyalty.
But I wasn't raised like. You see, that's like I say. I go back to what Vic said about culturally where you were raised, your environment, and all that, right?
You
Because
never had that.
I was raised where the family comes, they get a little bit more, protection and all that because they're family. They get first dibs, let's just say. And then um, outside of that is when you start like picking your battles.
How
I
how far do
completely
you go
understand
out
that.
from immediate? How far do you go out, Antoine, when you looking at like protection and my family comes first? Is it immediate family considering consisting of your siblings, mom and daddy, or is it extended to uncles and aunts and
Okay,
cousins
it
and
all depends
grandmas?
on who and how I was raised as who we saw the most. My father's brothers and my mom's sisters. That's extended. Outside of their friends, I don't know you.
So if
So
if you and your brother at the club and your brother running his mouth, he drunk, he running his mouth,
I'm
yapping, and
protecting
somebody
my
trying to
brother.
fight him.
I'm jumping in, protecting my brother, and pulling him away. I'm doing the right thing.
If he
My
running
brother,
his mouth and
How about you
then
protect him and
he
snatch him
I'm
getting
out?
beat
jumping
up,
in. My brother's wrong. I'm jumping in. I'll probably
even if
slap
he
him and say,
wrong.
I'll probably slap him and say, you're putting both of us in danger here, but I'm pulling him away. It's my brother. I'm jumping in because he would do it for me, you know?
I ain't going to jail for my
That right
brother.
there, Antoine, that explanation was the Montgomery Brawl.
Oh, was that right? It was okay.
It's the Alabama Sweet Tea Party.
It's the Alabama Sweet Tea Party. It's the Riverboat Smoke Show, baby. You know what I'm
Alabama
saying?
sweet tea party. Did all y'all answer this? I think everybody pretty much said false,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we said
Both.
All right. Let me go on to the next one. True or false? Gender stereotypes can impact how men perceive their role in protecting and empowerment.
False.
false. Men that don't know themselves can probably be manipulated or confused about their perception of role and protection.
There you
But
go.
men that are self-aware, this don't have anything to do with me.
Hey, by what age you guys think a man? Because generally speaking, a man should know himself.
Yes.
It ain't no age.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
Well, I
I
would
would
say
say
this.
there isn't an age too because I'm
wow.
in my 40s and I'm still learning myself. I learn myself every day.
I mean that part I get. Okay, no, the learning part, the growing part, I'm with that. I'm talking about the
Are you
idiocy
talking about
part where you're
core?
like, I'm trying to figure out that part.
Listen,
But
Are
that's
you
like,
so you're
this
talking core?
I'm talking
this
like core, like who you are
Okay.
as a man.
this is the authentic answer to the question that you are asking. A man learns this earlier based upon his father's involvement.
There you
Take your
go.
take yourself for example. You talk a lot about your father and how influential he was in your life and some of the things that you did not have to go through. There are people who did not have that and they got what you got 10 years later through
Or
trial and
20
error.
years later.
I was just
Wow.
about to say Chris
So
has
what
been there.
age? What are we talking? 60,
Listen,
70?
Hold on.
What are we
it's
And
not
that's
age.
Until you get the information.
Listen.
talking?
go ahead,
You're
Chris. I was just
talking.
about to say
You're talking to a man who is living it right now. I do not
Okay.
think that there is an age. I believe that a man figures himself out when he removes himself from the environment from which he was taught those things. That is why I am learning new things, because I had to remove myself from the nonsense that I was taught when I was coming up. I had to realize that 90% of the stuff that I learned from the people that I was around was nonsense. And now I have a different understanding. There is no age. There's a point in a man's life where he sits down and he says, this is not right. I know this isn't how it's supposed to be. Or he says, I was raised this way because I was around all of these women, but I can't move like they do because I'm not a woman. So I got to figure out some man shit. You understand what I'm saying? There is
Then
no age. There's a specific moment where a light bulb goes off. That's the age. I
triggers.
can't
then
cap
that's
that.
the age. Then that's the age you should be looking for a woman. All that
I
that's
have no idea
the
what you were
age
saying.
to start looking for a woman. In a sense, thing it could be a lifetime. You have no age. You have no this. It could take a lifetime. I'm saying then if you haven't figured out who you are as a man, don't bring anybody else into your bullshit. That's what I'm
I
saying.
agree.
Like you should say,
I
no,
think we all agree with
don't bring
that.
anybody
Yeah.
else in. Okay,
But
good. So if it
I
happens
think
at 60, that's on you.
but I think the problem is some people don't know until later on. Like I went my whole first marriage not knowing who I was. I was married for 19 years and didn't know who I was. Didn't figure out my purpose. I didn't get the teachings that you got. If you had grew up in Chris's situation, you would be sitting
Yeah.
where Chris is. You
That's
see what
why
I'm
I can
saying?
take
God,
what you're
You didn't
saying.
get
I
what you
That's why I
got.
can take what you're saying and say, okay, your experience is valid. You lived it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got
you lived
friends who
it.
had their dads in their lives, and their lives are completely different than mine because the lessons that I got in my 30s, they got all their life. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
So
talked to
that's
a
why I
lady
can get
today.
where you coming from a lot of times when you talk. And a lot of times, like I said before, man, I'm lightweight. I say this to every guy that I have in my life that had their father from the jump. I am jealous of you because you got all of the lessons when you were coming up that I am getting now. You understand what I'm saying? And that's a cultural norm in our society,
That's why I
in
said it's two
our
different
community.
blacks. Remember,
That
I
is a
said two different
cultural
kinds of
norm.
black.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was talking about, Antoine. That
Then,
right there.
because and Victor, to you, what you're saying, you're absolutely right. I get this now. And the funny thing is, I didn't even want to date unless I had money. Like, I mean, unless I could afford it. Like, I didn't even want to know about that. Like, it was like, wow. And
Yeah.
how people get involved when they're messed up here, to me, is like foreign
When you
language.
don't know
Yeah.
when you don't know you messed up, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
run
I guess
around
so.
with other
Or you
people,
don't know or you don't know that you don't know you messed up.
you don't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's so many degrees to it. So you got to understand, like that's what real delusion is. When people talk about, like, people loosely throw around the matrix. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And there's a matrix in everything. There's layers upon layers of multiple problem sets out there that may be insignificant to some and major issues to others. Like for you, in the dynamic of when you talk about how your father instilled his morals and values, you know what I'm saying, in the household, and how you know absorbed it from either direct or indirect or just osmosis, right? And then You can't simulate growing up without a father.
Yeah.
Just like they can't simulate growing up with a father.
So wow.
It's like that's why I say all things are true. See,
Like
this
but
is why it's important that when we listening, that we're not listening to respond to negate somebody else's reality and their experience. Because just because you didn't experience something or anybody else that might be watching doesn't mean it didn't happen. Like if you never met somebody from Australia, that doesn't mean Australia doesn't exist.
Yeah, hey, Real Bravado Network.
But if that, not to get off topic, but if that's true, let's say, like, if you see a baby mama struggling, why are you gonna go be one? Like, if Chris sees another guy, you know what? I need to find a
cultural norm.
But listen,
it is a cultural.
Like now Chris is getting all of it, right? But wait, now Chris is getting all of it, and he's absorbing it, and he's learning from it, and he's growing and becoming who he's supposed to be, the best version of himself. So he's able to tell the next guy that he sees, "Hey, buddy, trust me, A, B, and C is this." Right?
See, here's the thing.
But how many Chris's are in the neighborhood?
But see, exactly. Here's the thing. I can do that. I can do that, and they can see my outcomes from me doing that. But that gives them the opportunity to put me in a box that's negative because it is outside the cultural norm. You understand what I'm saying? I am not afraid of being looked at as weird. I don't care what names you call me. I've grown past that. But a lot of men out there are not past that. They have been indoctrinated with this thing that if that dating a woman with a kid, to use your example, that dating a woman with children used to be noble. It used to be a thing. It used to be something that men were praised for because they stepped in. They stepped in when another man decided that he wanted to step out or he was never put in place in the first place. Now it is looked at different because, I hate to say it, because of the culture. You understand what I'm saying? That's why men are shying away from dating women with children because of the culture, because of the handout.
It used to be a baby mama, though. It used to be shunned back in the day. It used to be shunned to be a baby. And
that's another component of it.
Like globally, having children out of wedlock was reserved for just concubines. It was a different tier of person in society. It's a class of people that fit into that. You know what I'm saying? By general assessment, if you look at time period pieces, if you watch like any type of show that's kind of like formatted off of a caste system, being, you know, like where you got like the working class people, the elites, and everybody in the middle that makes it work,
right?
The women that had children out of wedlock that weren't wives were never desirable for long-term relationships.
Hey, with that being said, let me see. Let me do one or two more of these true or false questions. I like this one. True or false? That word again, empowerment. Speaking of empowerment, ladies and gentlemen, check out the Empowering Perspective podcast Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Empowering Perspective podcast. Men's empowerment and protection can contribute to healthier relationships and reduce violence.
True.
True. Men have code.
And like, men teach code.
Look, come on. Like what this is you know, this is about men focusing on themselves. And when they focus on themselves and get control of their emotions and self-regulate, you're just going to have less conflict. You're going to have more solutions being presented, more progress being made, more information being shared, and you're going to have increased efficiency. You know what I'm saying? Because generally speaking, every man wants the same thing: to be left alone. To be left alone to his own devices, make his freedom of his own choices, not be criticized, you know what I'm saying, for the choices he makes. He wants to be able to be sovereign enough to have tools to offer other people to help network and grow what they have and share. It's really group economics when it comes down to it, you know. And we can't make money together if we're not cool. If we being violent, we're not making money. We getting exploited.
Wow.
I like it. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everybody being here. Gentlemen, I appreciate all you guys for being here tonight, sharing your thoughts, comments, expertise, all those different things. Again, check out Empower Perspective Podcast this Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out Code Talk. He went live this morning. I am not exactly sure what day he's going live again. I think he said Wednesday morning.
Every Wednesday morning, at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time.
Wednesday, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time.
Yeah.
Until next
Oh,
time,
Wednesday at 8. Oh, it's
8
5 for me.
a.m. So,
No,
ladies and
5.
gentlemen, until next time, we are out and we will see y'all again next week. Same time, same place. Peace.